They are threatening to kill other sisters, says family member. Inspector General of Police vows to rescue remaining 5 sisters unhurt. Ex-minister accuses security agencies of not using N50M policy to track criminals. That's a question a lot of Nigerians have been asking, how it is difficult to track these persons using N50M policy. Now to another story here. Supreme Court verdict, we never traded off Kanu. APC saying denies pact with NNPP. Tinubu appoints first female permanent secretary for Education Ministry. And another story here. Don't contest 2027 presidential election. PDP group advises Atiku. You find that story at the top corner. Governor Utu assures support for families of fallen heroes as we commemorate Armed Forces Remembrance Day today. Ganduje Gauna make Governor Yusuf's elders cancel. Don't take Tinubu for granted, Gbenga Daniel tells Nigerians. Detractors' plots against me always fail, says Wike. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the First News newspaper. To the Leadership newspaper now. A major story here, kidnapping in the Federal Capital Territory concern as Pantami raises ransom for victims. Says security agencies not utilizing N50M policy. Terrorists kill victim after ransom payment, demand additional 60 million naira. We have deployed operatives to rescue them, the police is saying. And this story, Afghan Eagles draw with Equatorial Guinea. It was a 1-1 draw. Troops reject 12 million naira bribe, arrest smugglers in Ogun. APC vows to reclaim Edo, retain Ondo, capture Anambra. Cuba will never submit to U.S. dictates, envoy is saying. Detained vessel reloaded 119 tons of crude oil, captain is saying. This has to do with the continued investigation into the arrest of a vessel called MT Cali for crude oil theft in Bayelsa State last Thursday. Outright, another story here. Kingmakers reject deposition of Kogi monarch. Armed Forces Day won't compromise Nigeria's unity. As Senate President Godswill Akpabio is saying this. We'll move to the front page of the Daily Trust now. Bandits sold 5 sisters after killing 1 in Abuja. Demand 100 million naira. Pantami's friend raises 50 million naira for other captives killed in Kaduna. Ilorin unit urges federal government to rescue abductees. We've intensified rescue operations, the police are saying. And ACF, that's Arewa Consultative Forum, Northern Elders Forum, meet over North's challenges. And airlines trapped funds, that's at the top corner. Pressure mounts despite $61 million release. 100 days of war on Gaza. Israel kills 23,968 Palestinians. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Trust. Quickly now, we'll move to the Abuja Inquirer. As kidnappers kill 1 of 5 sisters. Anger in Abuja. Netizens in race to raise 100 million naira ransom. Atiku wants security rejigged. We are on top of the situation, the police is saying. Unity of Nigeria depends on you, Akpabio tells the military. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Abuja Inquirer. And now to the Nigeria News Direct. Still talking about the Abuja kidnapping. Protests brew in Abuja, Kaduna as police sue for peace, initiate plans to end banditry attacks. Pantami's ally pays ransom for release of Nabija's siblings. Mixed reaction as CBN transfers departments to Lagos. Serap calls for reduction in 2024 NAS budget amid economic challenges. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Ibrahim.
Right, the first with me is the blueprint. Insecurity in Abuja concerns outrage over kidnapped 6 Al-Qadriya girls. Police intensify search as abductors slay Nobiha, insist on ransom. Ex-Communications Minister Pantami facilitates 50 million naira. PDP tasks Governor Abdulrazak and Mustafa. That's on page 6. Also, Nigeria double-digit inflation to remain at average of 23.47% in 2024. At Dedipe, why federal government prioritize tourism for economic gains? Experts, bankers, stakeholders applaud CBN on headquarters decongestion. Lagos, NDLEA arrest 42-year-old Taufik with 324 bags of Canadian loud, 10 core members on youth exchange program to India. Federal government resolves Lagos RTN dispute. Additional emerges new chair. On the bottom strip, Supreme Court will never traded off Kano with NNPP, says APC. Vows to frustrate Atiku's alliance plot before 2027. Kano Governor Yusuf hails Tinubu Shetima on neutrality. This Nigeria is next. Disquiet over resurgence of bandits, kidnappers along Kaduna-Abuja highway. Nigerians want federal government to deploy political will, change strategies, improve the condition of service for the police officers. Military has no excuse not to secure Nigeria, CAS. Sierrap to Akpabio Abbas, cut self-serving 344.85 billion naira National Assembly budget. There will be no increase in sugar prices, federal government pledges. Sub-Saharan Africa's labor force may rise by 14 million individuals. That's according to the ILO. Group urges Tinubu to end crisis in Plateau, Southern Kaduna. And on the ear of the newspaper, CBN's $61 million disbursement. Foreign airlines dissatisfied, threaten to withdraw services. That's it for this Nigeria. Next is the West. One dies, many macheted in Ikene over Obaship tussle. Osun Domestic Exports Terminal exposing locals to foreign earnings. Oyo insists on digital report sheet for public school pupils. Also, opinion, Osun APC and the adage of Omoya Mefa. 354 Okada impounded in Lagos. AFCON, Super Eagles falls Equatorial Guinea to 1-1 draw. LIRS announces deadline for workers' annual tax returns. Playing politics with Akeredolu's 10-day burial arrangement. Stop encroaching into recovered setback on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Ogun government tells transport unions. Next is the Punch newspaper. 7 major marketers get approval to sell Dangote fuel. NNPC retail, Total, MRS, others make lists, await commercial terms. Ipman, Petroan to meet Dangote refinery this week, marketing deals. Passengers stranded as BRT drivers down tools, overpay. You see that on page 6. Ex-minister's friend offers to pay 50 million naira for abducted Abuja girls. Above the nameplates, EFCC, Nigerians want ex-governors to account for 772 billion naira. That you see that on page 8. Police not permitted to search citizens' phones. Lagos CP. Tinubu strips gobbed 3.4 billion naira in 6 months. That's according to government spend. You can read that up on the pages of the Punch newspaper. Next is the Vanguard newspaper. Manufacturers threatened as CRR rises 45.5% to 13.81 trillion naira. Trend threatens banks' intermediary role. Analysts, companies, access to credit curbed as cost of money rises. Supreme Court verdict, we didn't trade off Kano. That's according to the APC. Catholic bishops decry high-level corruption in Nigeria. Remembrance Day, governors drum support for armed forces, families of fallen heroes. And above the masthead, Nigeria can't make progress without true federalism. Obong Atta. Ohaneze youths praise Tinubu. Flay media trial of Better Edu. That's about it for the Vanguard newspaper. Next is the Daily Independent. Experts question CBN sack of bank boards management. Ask Apex Bank governor to explain details for action. Captain of arrested vessel names collaborator in alleged illegal bunkering activity. 2024 budget, NIMET to spend 644.2 million naira on fumigation, stationaries, computers. Edo Guba, how Igodalo emerged Edo Central PDP sole aspirant by Tommy Kimi. APC vows to win Edo, Ondo, Anambra off-season Goba polls. My commitment to sustainable development in Niger Delta on course. That's according to Tinubu. CUPP urges constitutional amendment wants all election cases to end at Supreme Court. Remain resolute in defeating insecurity. CDS charges troops. That's about it for the Daily Independent. Next is the national economy. E-Naira, how to boost Nigeria's digital currency adoption. That's according to economists. Stakeholders list what CBN must do. Above the masthead, Nigeria's cosmetic imports reach $1.1 billion in 2023. Imperative for sanity in Nigeria's tax system. And on the bottom strip, top 10 money market funds for 2024. Salient times. Next, idle Ajaokuta steel mill costs Nigeria 49 billion naira. Nabiha and sisters, kidnappers dump bodies of four abductees in Abuja. Madman allegedly machetes worshipper inside church during deliverance. Activist claims restless ghost of Mohbad soul sought her help. Cuts self-serving 344.85 billion naira NAS budget. Group tells Akpabio, Abaz. Woman drowns a 2-day-old baby and secretly buries the body in farm. Meta to hide post abduct about suicide, eating disorders from teens. And above the masthead, Tokumbo Afikuyomi, how scammers hacked my phone, defrauded my friend. And this says, I defile minors because no confidence to approach mature ladies. That's according to suspect. Insecurity. Pantami accuses security agencies of not using NINSIM policy to track criminals. That's about it for the salient times. Nature News newspaper is last but not least. Year 2024 will be the warmest ever. WMO warns. Year 2024 will be the warmest ever. Akresol urges bank to support Adamawa's green vision. Abia government initiates evacuation of gully erosion victims in Aba. Bauchi adopts innovative toilets. Fact check: can bees be used to apprehend thieves? That will make for an interesting read. Dry season farmers switch to solar energy in Taraba. Nigeria launches agric plan to boost food supply. Lagos government plans 10,000 MT cocoa processing plants by 2025. That's about it for the Nature newspaper. Fact check: can bees be used to apprehend thieves?
Okay, because there was a story where bees were used to apprehend a thief. So it surrounded his hands, and so that was how they were able to nab him. But there was a particular woman who you can call perhaps a dibia or something like that. There's a word for the female person who wields such supernatural powers to be able to. So they were able to control the bees to apprehend the thief. So instead of using what do you call it now, for the hand that police use to nab thieves.
Handcuff.
Handcuff, yes. Instead of using handcuff, the bees were the handcuff that was on the hand of the thief at the end of the day. I think it's somewhere in the southeast or south-south. I saw that story in passing.
That must be African science.
They use African science instead. But it's quite worrying, this development coming out of the Federal Capital Territory about the sisters that were kidnapped. This story is quite saddening. Yes, if you read up stories and comments on X, for instance, how people were talking about, oh, when we're talking about this matter of kidnapping, a lot of people were not responding, especially those in power who are from that extraction, that should understand what is going on in the northeast, in the northwest, across the north central, what really is going on.
That's right.
But because it's coming closer home now, we're beginning to see them raise their eyebrow, talk about these issues as against when a lot of Nigerians have been talking about it. We have always spoken about this matter of NIN, SIM, registration, what the essence was if we can't use it to track criminals at the end of the day. And then we are beginning to see the former minister, Pantami, coming out to speak about it, that the government is not cashing in on that. But the question that Nigerians are also asking is, when it was his time, how much was achieved with this thing that he's speaking about? Nobody is trying to point fingers, but if we had begun something at a time, perhaps we would have achieved a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
As it is now.
Well, government is a continuum. He actually tried his own best in ensuring that the name same of a thing was was brought to fruition. So it's incumbent on this current administration to ensure that all of this latest technology, intelligence, everything, bring them together, rally them together in order to track criminals, to track kidnappers, just name them, because these people are not air. They are right here on Earth, and they are not coming from Mars.
Are they able to do these things to beat the system? As a question.
So it's very important. Why private security seems to be doing so well in nabbing, all of this, these people that are posing threats as against what the established authority, security agencies